Hello everybody, welcome back to the Byzantian Brewscast, the one and only place where you can have a goose shout at you about how you're doing homebrews wrong, probably. This is your host, Kenny Jackson, with my co-host...
I'm Byzantian.
And we welcome you to another issue of whatever this is. We're going to be talking about homebrews, we're going to be talking about mounts, we're going to be talking about critical fumbles, and many more things tonight's show. What have we got to start with in our initial waffles?
A busy week-ish. There was another events day, so I'm still recovering from my actual crash out, which is good.
Reasonable crash out.
Yes, reasonable crash. Yeah. I also helped out Mitchell move some stuff from his loft because he's moving to his flat soon.
Nice.
And we just went through a box of his old possessions, and I mean like childhood possessions. It was like a proper time capsule of stuff.
Oh.
I mean, like boxes full of old Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Duel Masters.
Oh, Duel Masters, man.
Dinosaur King, and bizarrely, he had some Neopets cards at one point.
Oh, yeah, I had a, like, Ninja Shaijin or whatever, like, card at one point, because I had the Talking Furno, I think, plush when I was a kid.
Oh, and some very funny bootleg Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Darkly Big Rabbi, etc.
Oh, yeah, it was, yes. I think one of them was, it was Luminous Soldier, but it becomes Sun Fighter.
Amazing.
I love stuff like that. I did find something else in there. Just gonna upload it to the chat. Something that I don't know how I ended up there, but it's actually some of something I must have left there when I was like 10 somehow. I can't believe I found it. Where is it at? Where's the chat? There we are.
Hang on.
Pics and vids. There we are. Many tabs, right?
Many tabs.
Yes. There it is. It's a little crease, but as I remember it, I literally lost it.
Oh,
forever.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like there's no way.
Hang on.
So
Amazing.
it's worth much. It's worth much with that crease, but I sort of thought, no, that if that's mine, I'll laugh so hard because I've been wondering where that went for years. And Mars was there. But yeah, loads of. Did you know how many of these weird Pokemon, not Pog things? They were effectively Pogs, but they weren't Pogs.
Yes, I think I did have one or two of those.
They were reflective disc things, and they had like a whole, like a small part of them. And I was like, you know what? I might well keep hold of those in case there was something.
Yeah, interesting.
It was. Yeah, it was like 90s archaeology for a bit. And I got my Mew card back, which I didn't know I'd lost. So yeah, there was a really interesting day. How about you?
So my weekend's been relatively quiet, but it's fine, I guess. My week's been a relatively quiet one. Again, kind of the calm before the storm, I suppose, of what will be September. Usually a lot of things happen in September. But
That's true.
I haven't really done anything exciting this week, really, to note. But yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah, I just haven't been up to a whole lot. I wanted to get some art done, and I just didn't have the gumption for it. You know, I just didn't have the get up and go. Okay, so I'm looking. Actually, can you show prices in bloody? It's fine. So I'm looking at the prices for Ancient Muse. Granted, this is good condition. Although actually,
Yeah,
even poor
it is a
condition,
more customer.
so the cheapest poor condition is still nearly €10. So
I don't know, man. I've lost this for 20 years. I'm not. No, I'm not losing it again now.
just in case you were curious, yeah, I was thinking of going to this indoor fun fair thing, but I took one look at it actually on the website. I was like, they don't have hooker ducks, so I'm not interested.
Oh, is that like a thing? Is that into polka dots?
Yeah, I used to love it when I was a kid. That when I think fairgrounds, I think like the fairground games, not the rides, because I was terrified of the rides.
Okay.
So it was like
I
hooker
think I
duck,
once.
hooker bag. I would go for the the not haunted house, what they call like the crazy houses,
Oh,
But
another one you're on about.
but I don't
All the
think
mirror
I
stuff.
think I think yeah, and all the rollers and stuff, big old parkour course. But I
Yeah.
don't think I think I'd get some funny looks.
No, that's fair. I've been trying
S-
to get Mitchell to, or anyone else really, to go to the Sea Life Centre again because I
Ah.
don't know what it would look like if I went by myself. I want to go back there. It's been ages.
Hmm. Oh. Yeah, I haven't been to a sea life center, like a proper sea life center in
We have one on the doorstep as well.
yeah, forever, really.
Well.
I actually miss, actually, it's been almost a year. I do miss the Sea Life Center. Not Sea Life Center, Seal Sanctuary. Seal Sanctuary.
Oh, that was amazing.
Just little
Best I've ever
seals
been spent
going
there.
breg and egg and penguins.
Had some jackass penguins. That is their real name,
That is their
as
name.
it
That is their
turns out.
name. I can't wait to go back. But yeah, that's week's not been particularly exciting. Uh, so let's move on to our first section,
Did I?
tabletop book club.
Yes. So this time I picked. I've re-gone through the. It's it's based on the Terminator franchise by well, Nightfall Games, actually backed by Studio Canal. So it's based on the movie, or the
Oh,
movies. It's quite flexible. It rather than stick to one thing. It's like you pick where you want to come in because Terminator got weird. Um, so basically, you can have it set in any time period, but although there's a few things about it. They don't call it a DM or a game master. They call it there's like a director, literally reference to the movies, which I think is
of
quite fun.
course.
It's it does require you to talk to your players a lot, because you need to set like plot or general ideal plot for whatever mission the characters are on.
Right.
So there's less sort of the D&D thing where you have one character that really doesn't want to be part of it. There's less of that, which I think can be a good thing.
Mm.
And it does encourage cinematic play. So it's thinking if it's a suboptimal action, but it would be dramatic, it does rather encourage it.
That is kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, so it's leading to the fact that it is a movie franchise. See, it's not a terrible thing to act like characters from a movie, even if it's not optimal play sometimes.
Hmm.
The stats are pretty straightforward. Strength, knowledge, charisma, so all these ones. They just have fate, which obviously depending on who's meant to live in the past and who obviously dies in the first uprising, that kind of thing.
Ah, I
And
get
you get
you.
like a basic set of stats, so you don't roll for it. So it does streamline quite a lot of things.
Yeah. Interesting.
Let's have a look. There we are. That's there's a thing called hope points. So basically, that's basically like in the fate points in Fate.
Right.
They do actually also have fate points as well. It's a totally
That's just
separate thing.
slightly confusing,
But
but okay.
yes, yeah, it's a different. It's a different. It's not like a D20 system. So it does things a
Mm-hmm.
little bit differently, but I do quite like it. Um, I will say the stats are really well padded out because if you want to know, if you wanted to know if you had to make something like a, let's go with dexterity. like a drive motorcycle, yeah, that's a dexterity check.
That makes sense to me.
Like all the stats stuff is really well thought out, even if the rules are just as if you haven't touched the board before, because it's a very deliberate new system.
Hmm.
You also get role-based skills, so it does streamline a lot of the choices, which some people might not like, but I do quite appreciate it. As for the
Yeah.
actual in-setting stuff, it's quite trying to find the exact page. It's quite like it because I've it's not my favorite franchises, but I do know enough about the Terminator to have an interest in it.
Hmm.
So it's really nice that it lets you choose. Do you want to play the through the movie version where you are going back in time to prevent anything Skynet based, or if you want to play as uh, members of members of the human resistance in the future, actually dealing with the threat there and now.
Oh.
Which personally I love the thought of, because the main hang up with the Terminator is that they keep opening all the movies with the future stuff,
Yeah.
showing that no matter what happens, this is how it ends up anyway, and humanity wins regardless. Why not just show that?
Yeah. Just do a movie on that, like the Resistance or whatever.
Because clearly the resetting stuff doesn't really work. It also does really does set the part that the so we do have obviously some more like ballistic weapons that you used to, frag grenades, but there's sort of plasma weapons which have their own category because they're actually effective against Terminators. And
Ah.
so it's sort of like sort of like resistance to non-magical weapons. Plasma weapons effectively cut through that limitation to nope, this actually works, as opposed to using an a rifle from 30 years ago. You're not going to have much of a chance against a lot
Yeah.
of the higher end machines because they're bulletproof to that kind of stuff. And it covers everything from like it's not a massive monster manual to be fair, but it does
Hmm.
cover stuff like the the the, the tank variant you see from Terminator 3 if you ever saw it, to the aerial ones that you see in pretty much every opening.
Yeah.
Some of them I've never even heard of. Uh, like a
Yes,
hydroplane,
the
which is
T-600 Jammy Dodger biscuit. That was a pretty popular one.
the satellite and the one with the T. I'm not if it's original, or not, but the T0,
The what?
which is the T000.
Uh-huh. It's just a bloke.
So it's basically it can't even blend into like can't even blend into human society like so the later ones would do. It's
Oh.
just a cheap mass produced Skynet unit.
Oh, right. Foot soldier
It's a
kind of
neat
deal.
idea. Oh yeah. So the T500, T600, it goes through like it's almost like cyberpunk esque in that it's really into its lore and and actually how it actually ties into the plot.
Mm.
Like there is a bit of like meat on the bone here, but it's mostly in service of this is how you might throw it at people.
Yeah.
I've got the classic T800. You cannot put that in.
Well, yeah.
Um, that it's very even the game says if you run the T800, just run. You
Yeah.
probably can't beat this thing. They're even resistant to energy weapons, so they're absurdly difficult to get rid of. Um, they're not going to quite like that.
Yeah.
And if and just and weirdly, there's cybernetic animals as well. So it goes into I guess the comics and bits. So if you're a fan of the Terminator, um, yeah, this is kind of like the perfect kind of game to get into because it feels like the movies. It's encouraging you to be like the movies, and it's also got like entries for like time travel stuff because you've got your T800s and all the more obviously robotic stuff.
Mm.
It's got a few templates uh, for like stealth units that literally can blend into human society in the past as well.
Makes sense.
If you want to do the classic Terminator timeline. So it's just just really well thought out. And the artwork's not half bad.
I'm just imagining sort of the director saying, "Yeah, you see a man who looks unusually like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, we
couldn't get
run, we
Arnold.
run, we run. Run from Arnie.
We couldn't get Arnold. He was a little busy, so we've got Arnold. Arnold Sports.
Arnold
He
Schwartz.
said he's related. He's related. So I think it's a really decent. I think it's a really interesting game system. I need to understand it a little better to even think about running it. But if you sell it as a game where you don't think about what's like the most gamey thing to do. Think about what would be the most cinematic thing to do. You're gonna get a lot of fun out of it.
Makes sense.
And I quite like it as well, especially coming off. Did you? I don't know if you remember. In 2016, about time they released a game called Terminator Resistance.
Yes.
So that was I really liked that game at the time. So it gives me very much that kind of vibe of you want the Resistance. It is miserable because yeah. That's what I've got this week. Terminator. It's just called the Terminator, not to be confused with any other. The Terminator RPG. I think there's only one of them to my knowledge. So what you got this week?
So I actually have been looking into more Red Dragon's Tale, the Lego D&D adventure. I actually found a PDF for it now.
Okay.
And it's really quite cute, actually. So they give a pretty basic description of the 4 characters and their equipment. Armor, holy symbol, Warhammer for the cleric. The wizard gets an arcane focus of a rod. A spellbook, 3 spell scrolls. But they actually get spell scrolls? Okay, that's an interesting thing to actually just straight up give the wizard, straight up. Invisibility, mage armor, magic missile. Okay, interesting. Gnome fighter, which gets armor, longsword, shield, and short sword. Orc rogue. Orc rogue is an interesting archetype. I don't tend to see orc rogues.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Cape, 2 daggers, light crossbow. Wow. And adventure takes place amid the ruins of a stone tower located near a dusty road. Tower's home to a famous inn called the In Plain Sight. Love that name. Travelers rave about the inn's food, especially the hot wings, which I think were actually called. So hot wings, I found this out from tasting history. Originally, hot wings were called devil's bones.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why did we change that? That sounds so much cooler.
I don't know. I think it was like, so hot wings are a lot older than you might expect them to be. I can't remember exactly how old, but people have been putting hot sauce on chicken wings for quite a while, apparently. Yeah. So, Evran Soulfallen, cool name. Evil sorcerer with a foul reputation sought to obtain an egg from a red dragon. Wearing a magical disguise, Irvin travelled to the In Plain Sight roadside inn attached to a crumbling stone tower. Not too far from the ruined tower is a mountain where a red dragon named Cinderhowl dwells. Again, actually cool names. Wow.
Fancy name, but yeah.
After imprisoning the innkeeper in the tower's dungeon, Irvin took over the inn under assumed name Merry Rumwell. Merry Rumwell, amazing.
Well, I should hope so, with a name like that.
A few days later, a group of adventurers called the Hard Way. Yeah, I could see a D&D group calling themselves that and being like, Hard Way.
Yeah, that tracks.
Arrived at the inn, Irvin hired them to steal one of Cinderhowl's eggs, promising gold and free hot wings in return. I mean, I'd do quite a lot for free hot wings. When the adventurers delivered the egg as promised, he betrayed them, he slew them with magic, and hid their remains in the basement of the tower. Expecting the egg's theft to infuriate Cinderhowl, Irvin chose to remain in the inn out of the dragon's sight. He has hidden the egg and hopes it will hatch soon. Once the egg hatches, Irvin plans to train the dragon Wormling to do his evil bidding. The adventure begins when the PCs arrive at the inn unexpectedly, unaware that an evil sorcerer resides there in the guise of an innkeeper. Wow! What? That's quite the intro. Woof.
For a Lego adventure,
It's a really
that's kind of
good,
dark. Okay,
yeah, it's a really
I
good
like it.
setup. Wow.
So, does it modify the actual core mechanics at all, or is it
I
D&D classic
believe
five
it.
years? You know.
I believe it's specifically using the 5e system. I think.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Without there is a section called wait, page 11 without D&D rules. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Ooh,
The
okay.
following system can help you run the adventure without D&D rules. If you're
Right.
not sure how to resolve a situation using the system outlined below, hot wing it. During each scene,
Is it hot
minifigures
wing?
take turns in the following order unless everyone agrees to some other arrangement. Orc, rogue, elf, wizard, gnome fighter, dwarf, cleric, creature controlled by Dungeon Master in that order. I guess that kind of makes sense. That would be roughly how initiative would likely go, at least for the players. Gives the players a bit more agency,
Yeah,
maybe.
I can see that.
What minifigures can do is limited only by the player's imaginations. On each of their turns, a minifigure could do whatever activities the player controlling that minifigure wants it to do, subject to the Dungeon Master's approval. Encourage them to be creative, physical activities. Examples of activities a minifigure in a turn. Minifigure trying damage a creature or object using a spell, weapon, or element in an environment, or something else. You decide this is possible. See damage below for more information. Drop, grab, or move an item. Move. Makes sense. Other, such as forcing open a locked door, using a jump spell to leap top of the wall, or sneaking past a monster being detected. And if it has a skill spell or an item you can help, assume it is successful. Okay, interesting. Da-da-da. When a creature is attacked with a weapon or damage, it automatically loses one or more hit points, and then you can dig a reason why it shouldn't.
Mhm.
High fall. You decide how many hit points a creature can lose before it surrenders, flees, or dies. Big creature, as like Cinder, has lots of points to lose, where a smaller minifigure might only have one or two. This makes sense. Whenever the minifigure of Alex, Jade, Scales, or player character was higher would attack, resolve the outcome with a coin toss using the system below. Okay. So basically, it's like using a really, really, really simplified thing.
Okay.
And there's the whole section of just magic items. So, what +1 Blessed Prey, +1 Shield, Dagger of Venom, Devotee Sensor, Lantern of Reveal, Ling, Manual of Quickness of Action, Orb of Dragonkind, Potion of Clairvoyance, Potion of Healing Greater, Potion of Heroism, Potion of Acid Resistance, Ring of Invisibility, Robe of Scintillating Colors, Scimitar of Speed. I think all of these exist in the main D&D thing anyway, but it's just cool. There's like, here's the items that are scattered throughout the adventure. Go find them, I guess. Some of them do actually
Okay.
have like builds in the Lego set. Like I think one of the staffs is a thing, and there's a shield. What shield is that? I think the Sentinel shield actually is a thing. It's got a cool looking beholder looking thing on it. And then there's character
Okay.
sheets. Included here are 4 character sheets. Ooh. Oh, and they even display the minifigure as opposed to like an actual proper version of the character. That's cute. And they're all level
Oh, that's
5.
fun.
I like how it's just called Dwarf Cleric, Elf Wizard, Gnome Fighter, and Orc Rogue. They don't actually have like proper names, which is quite cute actually, because then you could just put your own names on them.
Building, obviously.
Building,
Good name.
freaking building. Yeah, that's the Dwarf Cleric with his hammer. His name's Bill Building. He's a cleric of the Infomaniac.
That'd be interesting. That'd be a weird cult.
Ooh. So yeah, and there's even like a little cool bit at the bottom where it's like, note taking stuff, but it's got like a Lego theme to it. Aww. But yeah, it's 20 pages, so it's not particularly big. And
It's
you
fun.
could print off the PDF if you didn't buy the really expensive Lego set.
What set did it come with?
It came with, I think it was called Red Dragons Inn.
I'll look this up.
The Red Dragon Inn. No. Yeah, Red Dragon's Tale, sorry, which was like 315 quid. But it is a massive set, I suppose. It is still available, but it's quite a whopper of a set, but Most people
Low end
aren't going to
150.
pay. Yeah, no, 315.
No, no, I'm on eBay. The low end I'm seeing.
Oh, but then maybe that's not complete. I'm going by like retail
Probably.
value, to be
No,
fair.
no, hold on. No, it says new and sealed.
Oh wow, fair enough.
So it's a high end of 314 apparently.
Yeah, yeah. So that's like the retail. So I don't think many people would have spent 315 quid for just a small D&D book somehow.
No, no, I can see why you wouldn't. Um,
So I'm glad that someone on the internet, who was it? I'm not naming names. Oh blimey, what have I done? D&D book. Wow, I can't even spell. Oh, it's literally on D&D Beyond. Never mind, it's actually on D&D Beyond, straight up. Rare D&D
fair
Beyond
enough.
W, I guess. Can't believe I'm giving
That's cool.
D&D Beyond any
That's
credit.
funny you brought up the Lego thing because there was crawling through so much like bits and pieces in the box of Mitch's old stuff,
Hmm.
including a load of the old Barnacles masks. He must have had a mask pack at one
Oh
point.
my days! Amazing.
So he was getting rid of them anyway. I thought, I love these random bits and see what I can do with see what I can do with them on eBay or something.
Yeah.
So he got those. And one of the boulders that was the Patara would kick
Mm-hmm.
was loose in the
Oh
box.
yeah, Pahatu's boulder.
Yeah, it's one of those knocking about. That's a really fun. Yeah, like, that was a really cool. That seemed like a fun little idea.
There we are. There's Red Dragon's
Yeah,
tail, by the way. I'm sending it over to you now, so you don't have to go find it on D&D Beyond.
I'm gonna have to have a look. It sounds kind of adorable.
It
Um,
is. Maybe at some stage I'll try and get a bootleg of the set or something, or maybe like piece it slowly over time. Maybe buy like one
yeah,
minifigure one day and the Beholder builder next.
one brick at a time.
One brick at a time. Yeah.
It'd be a long job. So what got up next?
So next up is Critical Fumble. Burp. One of these days, one of these
Yeah,
transition thingies is gonna land, and then gonna be like that. That's the transition sound we're going with from now on.
shall we look into a soundboard? We should probably custom one of those, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So, Critical Fumble, what we got this
but yes,
week?
yes, this week I have found it's Visa and Mastercard get themselves in hot water by saying, "Oh no, we didn't ask to censor any adult content, not at all," and then getting caught doing that.
What?
Yeah,
I really thought they could just lie and get away with it.
yeah, that they didn't think that through. And there is apparently it's not through yet, but there's Trump's trying to pull an executive order to it's not just video games applies to, but effectively make it illegal to uh, use politics or agenda as a reason to ban the sale of something,
Fair.
which I which I think should solve it. Hopefully,
Hang on a minute.
hopefully there's not like a weird awkward catch with that. But Visa Mastercard is still doubling down on censorship. It was and the group behind it. Oh, there we are. And they're still saying,
My
"Oh no,
thought
it's
is like,
bigotry and
okay,
all that
I
stuff."
I totally get it. So companies can't ban the sale. Companies can't ban the sale of things for political
Yes,
reasons.
the
Oh,
credit card companies can't
that makes
with
sense.
the sale,
Yeah. I wonder if that's
which is a major
happened.
problem right now.
Yeah, credit card companies trying to like enforce shit. I'm like, bruh.
So yeah, it's defined as legal content. So if it's legal to own, they can't forbid you from buying it. using their services, which really
That
should be a win-win for them as well,
yeah, because
because
it's
people
also
are buying stuff.
like, bruh, particularly if it's a debit card company. For example, if you like got a Visa
Oh
debit
yeah,
card
yeah.
or whatever, it's like that's my fucking money. You know, you're just
I'll
holding it
spend it
for
how I
me.
please.
Yeah, it's like, bruh, if I
It is
want
a
to,
law against debanking specifically.
yeah.
So,
Well, at least there's been at least there's been a load of pushback on that. Like, thank
yes,
goodness.
that, yeah, adults like spending their money where they want. Who would have thought such a thing?
Yeah. Now, finally, we can deal with a situation that is this really ridiculously stupid online safety bill. We'd be right away.
Oh God, yeah.
Which
And
progressively
the
seems
and
to be
the
getting
looming
worse.
YouTube changes too. That'd be interesting.
Yay! At least I can swear within the first 30 seconds of a video now. That's nice.
Yeah, but the AI will be deciding based on your search history. never, never mind how old the account is. You know, um, that'll be interesting come the 13th of August.
Yeah. I'll just have to
Yeah,
search up a
so
bunch of
what you found?
random shit to confuse the AI.
Yeah, how to file taxes.
Just search that like 5,800 times. Genius.
Yeah, this 100 video playlist. What have you found this week?
So well, I haven't really got anything in particular this week. However, there is a slight fumble that I think that I'm
Yes.
going to complain about ever so slightly, and that is actually
Yeah.
aimed for once at Bushiroad and not anybody
Ooh,
else.
sure.
So, you've heard of the trading card game Weiss Schwartz, I presume. Weiss
I
Schwartz?
have yes,
Yes, they do a
yes.
lot of different anime collab things for their big old card game.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch that aren't available outside of Japan. They decided, there's all these
Okay.
other sets, like let's just not print them out in the West. It's like, thanks. So
That
I've got
sounds like something they would do.
Yeah, I've got in my possession a Haru Urara card from the Uma Musume
Right.
set. Bearing in mind, this had an anime that was relatively popular in the West way before the game came out. So why they didn't bring out the sets then, I don't know. But it's like, yeah, I'd love to play a deck based on this set. Unfortunately, it means I'll have to use Google Translate on every single card in the deck, which is going to be really fun.
Yay.
It's like, I just want to play Horse Girl deck because I thought it would be funny, and I want to collect Horse Girl cards because it's good for a video. Please, why did you not print them in English? Some of the sets I kind of understand because they were of anime and manga that didn't necessarily get very popular outside of Japan, but some were just like, yeah, this is actually enjoyed by a lot of people, not just in Japan. Why no do card? Don't get it.
Make money, sell cards.
It's also like your card game is struggling enough as it is without you not printing cards outside of Japan.
What? That doesn't that don't they just sell waifu cards? How is that that shouldn't struggle? That should be
Well,
the
it's
easiest
not
money in the
all
world.
necessarily waifu cards. There's some anime. I mean, anime generally has waifus in it, but there's some
Maybe it's this stuff Damien. I do some of the JoJo stuff from theirs actually from
yeah, like the JoJo
last
set's
year.
cool. At least the JoJo Blinking set came out.
Got some of them
What?
from Comic Con last year.
Yeah. I mean, okay, literally they're like featured cards or Hatsune Miku, so they're not beating allegations here, I guess.
Yeah, you'd think that would print money just by it. Don't see how that's failing.
Yeah, but
Uh,
apparently they did a Marvel set which has Iron Man on it.
okay. Again,
Uh,
that should make so much money.
there's an event card called Non-Stop Drinking from Bocce the Rock. That makes way too much sense.
Non-stop drinking. Hmm.
And Bocce the Rock poor Bocce. Yeah, poor Bocce. Apparently, there's a set called Disney Mirrorverse, which is really bizarre. Because, like, don't Disney already
Okay.
have their own card game?
They do now. There's
Yeah,
Lorcana,
it's
isn't
like,
it?
why are you releasing a Weiss Schwartz set when Lorcana exists? This is really weird.
Maybe they don't have to. Maybe with Lorcana, Disney has to get some of the profits, so they don't
Sure.
want to have to deal with that.
Guess. Trial Bang Dream again. Oh wait, see all. Don't give me the latest. I want to see everything. Brr. I want you to. I want to see if there's anything in here that isn't just waifu. I mean, I guess Disney Mirrorverse is an example of non-waifu stuff. I
That
guess.
doesn't count as waifu technically. So
Yeah. Hatsune Miku stuff. Ruro Uni Kenshin. It's mostly guys in
right,
that. I
fair
don't know.
enough.
Is that a recent anime? Who knows? I don't keep up with
Couldn't
recent
tell you.
bloody anime.
I've only ever seen people use the waifu cards myself, so that's why I jumped to. Oh, it
Oh, they
must
have
be
a
waifu
Toy
stuff.
Story trial deck as well, and Monsters Inc. apparently that
Oh,
released earlier this
that
year.
is
Boost. Wait, they've done a load of
okay
Disney
then.
stuff. What the heck? Trial deck Cars, Disney Pixar characters. Okay, sure.
You think?
So they do more than just straight up anime. I just assumed it was just anime cards.
Maybe it's a card company. They just get licensed stuff.
Oh.
Okay, that's
What else is here? Other than Bocce the Bocce the Red, just Bocce looking confused. I'm trying to see if there's like anything that isn't any more non-waifu-y stuff. I think I've kind of already Guilty Gear. Okay. Interesting.
didn't the new game kind of flop, if I remember rightly? I remember hearing it didn't do so good.
I think so, yeah. I think I've also heard ruminations of that. The Last Airbender. Is that a deck box of the Cabbage Man? Amazing.
Good choice.
Good,
It's a
good,
good
good,
choice.
good choice. Amazing choice. Seven Deadly Sins. Seven Deadly Sins doesn't strike me as a waifu anime either. Mostly because everyone's
Oh,
going
that's
for Escanor,
uh,
mostly. Big buff boy. So yes, so my argument is there's all of these like many things, including a lot of Hololive stuff, and things like Uma Musume just haven't been printed outside of yeah.
fair enough.
Um yeah, there are almost 3 times more Japanese sets than English. Why? I don't know.
That is something Japan like to do sometimes. They just do that.
King of Fighters apparently has an exclusive Japanese set. Again, people
Oh,
outside of Japan, pretty
that
sure
okay, that is
people play.
you get quite a lot of people that play King of Fighters outside of Japan.
Yeah,
It's never hit Street Fighter levels, but
mm.
it's always been present in the conversation.
If anyone knows of any of the sets I'm missing that are like Japanese exclusive that are also tilted about, let us know in the chat or in the comments below because we'd also like to know these things because I'd also like to complain.
The British, it's a national pastime.
It's national pastime. We like to complain about things we have, and we like to complain about things we don't have. Anyway, that's my critical fumble for the week. Not being able to get shiny cardboard in a language I can understand.
Right.
Homebrew of the week
Homebrew of the week.
time.
Yep. So many weeks in, I'm beginning to remember the format. Yeah, I've been busy. I've done two.
Oh,
So I wanted because it was I think the thing was mounts, wasn't it?
yes.
Yes. So I wanted a light mount and a heavy mount, and it was used to write dinosaurs. And I was writing for some Tadaslanta content, which is all about low low fantasy stuff. Thought, oh, perfect! I know what I'm writing this week. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I've written a couple. The first is something called Fortitude, which means like strong lizard, hard lizard, because it's got a weird like a protective bony bit on its head.
Uh-huh.
Looks a little like a. It looks a little like a. Ooh, how do I describe it? Um, looks like a Gallimimus. It's something like it's the size of a horse, really fast. Got claws for sort of uprooting things. Herbivorous and just really good for scouts and people that need to get somewhere nice and quick. Like uh, my reason for them having weird bony heads is because I imagine they live in jungles. There's a place called the Jungle Lands in Talislanta that fit them perfectly,
Makes sense.
and I'd imagine that sometimes you'll get like weird marsupials that defend themselves from their trees by just dropping things from a great height. So having some sort of natural armor would be a really useful thing to do,
Sounds good to
and
me.
not
That, that definitely
and
works.
something that has sometimes happened. Animal the previous so certain dinosaurs did have armor just for stuff like that. Um, imagine they eat a lot. Most of the dinosaurs fruit based. Um, but sometimes just like animals still today, if they tend to get a little drunk from rotten fruit. They sometimes you can tell where they've been because there's very odd trails or like disturbed foliage where they've rolled around high as
Mm-hmm.
a kite. I like to make my animals feel like this is just an animal. This just exists. Um, what sets them apart? They can leap as fast as their movement speed, which is a whole 50 feet, and that
Oh,
counts all direction. This counts up and forward. So I
big
wanted to
boing.
streamline how jumping worked a little bit. Yeah, big
Mm.
boing. Um, and they have a trait called raking claws. So basically, if they are targeting a prone target, they can make a claws attack at them as a bonus action, and then but no other circumstance where is that loud. They're not meant to deal that much damage, but they can. They're not without defense. Um, as for other actions, I've done the split damage thing again. So they have kick and pounce.
Makes sense.
Uh, but so kick as one. There's a trait in Talislant I absolutely love. Uh, I forget the name they give it, but I call it reflex. Basically, if the target of the action is behind them, they can do it as a bonus action.
Oh.
I think that's usually it's for like tail attacks because
Mm.
the animal doesn't have to think to do it.
Yeah.
So I just love that rule. So it's got the kick has that. It's basically it's 1d4 plus 3 bludgeoning and 1d4 piercing because it would. That's what I imagine the damage would be like. The pounce does the same, but with the charge range, so 20 feet, 50 feet being the full movement, and that has knockdown. So they can deal some damage, but they're really designed to be fast mounts and very not easy to train, but a bit more peaceable
Yeah.
if you're into that. Uh, yes, there we have done the other one. Yeah, I've gone through a Latin name translator, so it's gone. I'm sure this is probably wrong because it was from Google, but it's a good approximation. Obliqua varia. So basically, it means front-facing horn, roughly translated.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love the idea of any sort of triceratops-shaped thing being a good big beast of burden because
Yeah.
they're just huge. But I thought, what would make them stand out a bit? Because my annoyance with them is that they're so well evolved for what they do. It's hard to perfect them. So I made them a bit different, and so the difference being their horns face, even the ones on their crest face sort of curve forwards.
Mm.
Uh, so it's extra defense. It's more for that. Yeah. So yeah, again, they're not they're only tamed really from birth. and that's a case of literally isolating a lone egg or infant and trying not to get trampled, which is really, really hard to do.
Hmm.
They're generally they're CR3s. They're fairly hardy, but not out of the scale of adventuring parties or hunting parties that might want to have a crack at them. They do have a lot of natural armor, which in Talislant is a big deal because armor isn't given to you as default. In you might get armor by default depending on your background, but you often don't. So AC being low is sort of a norm. They're quite heavily armored by default.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Yes, yes. So the sort of drawback to them is they are they're large, so they eat an awful lot of plant life, which means that sort of like the way like elephants do, you can tell where they've gone by their heavy footprint, the fact they tend to almost strip every forest they go through, which predators can very easily track because they leave very distinctive, it's almost paths in a jungle. So that can that's so well that's. I wanted to again a little fact to drop in. I just wanted to feel like a real life animal that would exist in this sort of fantastical world. Uh, Base AC is 14, which is for animals pretty high. But Teleslanta is generally quite high all round. 40
Yeah.
hit points coming in, based on loosely on CR3, based on the Beast 35E set. They are bulky, obviously, it being large. So the advantage of those is being pushed or moved,
Hmm.
and the armored crest, which are again a few things. They have +2 AC against attacks from the front, so potentially 16.
Oh.
Uh, which again, a setting where low armor is the norm. They're not pushovers. Um, the Triceratops would actually get a charge attack, hitting on +7. Got 20 strength. They're nice and beefy. 40-foot movement, so you can potentially outrun them.
Hmm.
1d6 +5 piercing, +1d6 bludgeoning. The horn does the same damage without the charge and knockdown effect. Because I have a stomp and tail attack. So the stomp is 1d10 +5, bludgeoning, knockdown, and the tail 1d8 +5. With again the reflex trait. It's I'd say it's the more straightforward of the two monsters, but for a big mount, I thought giant Triceratops
Hmm.
perfect. I as much as I could like to try and improve upon it, that's an almost perfect animal for what it was.
Yep.
So I just lent into that one quite heavily. Um, with these two, I'd say like and Hunt in general. If there's anything that as a DM you probably should borrow from monster design, it's it's well, I call it reflex, but the reflex special rule or trait because it makes animals that little bit more tactically useful
Yes.
and makes approaching an animal from behind seem more dangerous because they might know you're there. They can just bonus, and it gives them a bonus action, which is weirdly rare for a lot of beasts. I'm not sure why. So yeah, just there's a little free tip at the end there. What have you been working on? I imagine it's a construct. Am I right or am I wrong?
Technically, no. It's a
Ooh.
monstrosity, as per the
Oh,
rules.
nice.
It is the minecart of devouring, which means it's
Just mine.
technically, yeah, it's kind of the similar vein to mimics and things like that. It's a creature that's kind
Right.
of the reason it exists was accidental, probably, and it's annoyed
Like the
about that
probably
fact.
there.
Yeah. So they are basically akin to a much, much bigger version of the bag of devouring, effectively, but with a few key differences in the obviously different
Amazing.
utilities. So, while they remain motionless, they're almost indistinguishable from an ordinary object. Only DC 18 investigation check will notice that the front of the minecart looks vaguely like a grumpy face. They always have like a
Oh,
weird,
no.
grumpy looking face to them. And their eyes and such only sort of show when they become active. On rails, Their movement speed is increased to 60 and their dex to 16 when it's on a set of rails. Otherwise, it's 20 feet of movement speed. They're not fast. They're not fast off rails, obviously, because you try maneuvering yourself as a minecart through dense foliage. It's just not going to work very well. But it can also adjust its gauge, as in train gauge, to fit any type of rails. Right. So it's not like it's like specifically like N gauge or HB gauge or whatever. It's like I can go with anything. Just give me a minute. But here's the main thing. So when it feeds on gems, ores, or the mine produce fed into its bucket like one would a normal minecart. Doing this, a creature may satiate the minecart. AKA, similar to bag of devouring, if you put things in there that would normally sort of come from a mine, it's going to eat them. Much like a bag of devouring does. It just goes delicious. But it will become satiated by this because it is kind of it is a creature in a sense. It does require food to live.
It is alive.
Yes. Satiated minecart devouring is likely to follow its feeder as it cannot hunt for food itself. It doesn't have arms, so it can't mine anything. Crucially,
so it can't drive mining.
Yeah, and because of course it doesn't have limbs to throw items into its own bucket, so it can't really eat by itself. While satiated, a creature may safely ride inside the minecart, controlling them as if a common steed. The minecart of devouring will also only eat until it is full, leaving behind any additional or inedible items in its bucket. So you can always store extra food in its bucket, so you don't have to worry about overfeeding it or whatever. This also becomes relevant a bit. If not fed for a week, the minecart of devouring will enter a starving state and turn on its feeder in desperation. In this state, they will devour anything metal, including weapons, armor, and magic items. After this, it will not trust that feeder or the company they keep again, assuming they and the minecart are still alive. So that's how they survive if they are truly desperate, is they will just resort to eating anything metal. Which usually means they will hunt specifically, they might wind up attacking villages or knocking down carriages, etc., to get to metal and stuff like that. Which is probably how you're going to...
rails in the way.
Well, they can move off of rails, they just don't like to, because they're slower.
Oh, that's okay.
So if they're they might also wind up eating rails if they're truly desperate, because rails do have metal.
That's okay. No, I'm following.
Yeah, if the minecart devouring is somehow knocked prone, it is resistant to being knocked prone, but if it is somehow knocked prone, it's unable to get up by itself. Again, it doesn't have limbs. DC 15 strength check will suffice to turn it back on its wheels again. If the minecart devouring moves at least... It has charge, so it does have the Minotaur's charge effect, because... It's a minecart. If that thing's somehow going to be able to get up to speed at you, it's going to hurt. And it has Minicular Manslaughter. It's just a basic attack, but I just gave it a funny name. Just 2d8 plus 4 piercing damage. It just collides with you it's kind of got barbs at the front kind of thing, if you imagine that. You know how the front of the minecart has front of a minecart has bolts and stuff. They're jagged bits of metal, and it can use coal shot, but it needs coal as ammo. This is where it not eating certain things, it being satiated and not consuming just anything that's put in there all the time comes into play. Because if it has coal in its bucket, it can fire it at things, and those shots.
Why does this thing come under?
It's a ranged weapon attack, technically.
No, what alignment does it have?
This thing is... This is neutral. They are neutral. They're not evil or bad. They're not good or evil, really. They act like animals, to be honest. They act like animals, even though they're weirdly not. But yeah, they do... Yeah, the coal shot deals 1d4 bludgeoning and 2d4 fire damage, because they're literally shooting hot coal at you.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Created when minecarts are hit with an awaken spell, either intentionally or by mistake, or similar means, I suppose, by like all the weird wild magic or whatever. The minecart devouring is an unusual companion. Their strengths as an adventurous pet are very niche, but extremely useful in their favoured environment. Their upkeep can be a little difficult, however, and have been more than a few instances of parties wiped out by their own quote-unquote faithful mount. Feed your minecart, boys.
Keep the minecart.
Feed him, he is hungry. They do have intelligence of 8, so they're not stupid.
Okay.
They are, because I went with like monstrosity style stats, so they're not like animals dumb. They are a little bit more intelligent than your average animal, largely out of necessity, because A, awaken spell usually gives them an intelligence of 10 on things, and B, it needs to be intelligent enough to get its food via other means because it doesn't have limbs. So it needs to be smart enough to be able to hunt its food effectively, I guess. Anyway, that's the minecart devouring. It's particularly weird, but I like doing weird stuff. I didn't want to just make, just a horse but a little bit to the left.
It would be weird though if it was a horse that could only go left.
That's true. Left horse.
Very weird. Left horse. Oh dear.
It's a horse with 4 left feet.
It can only drift.
Drift horse. The Blinky Takeshi horse. Just the Takumi horse. Delivering tofu.
Perpetually unimpressed.
I would be impressed if I ever saw a horse drifting, I'd be like, that's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. So, next section, skirmish report. Do we have any skirmish report stuff for this week, or something similar?
We have a skirmish report. Do we? You know what? Yes, we do. Might do anyway.
Go on.
I had my first crack at Guilty Gear last Thursday.
Oh, nice.
The original. I didn't know what I was doing. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. I didn't. I'm not great at it. It's mostly spamming stuff that sort of worked. And when I don't know how to play,
that's how it do.
When I don't know how to play a fighting game, I deliberately pick whatever character I think of at the time. So I never really stick to one.
I saw you picking the same one as your opponent for a few matches to see what it was like.
Oh, I do that. That's funny.
That resulted in one of the funniest mirror matches I've ever seen, where your character, the two of them had like almost like stands that were just like high-fiving each other for a solid 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yes. We figured out one attack has range. It was like, oh, if I just keep spamming it, eventually he'll get bored. It just came willpower at that point. And what's that? I forget the character's name, but this vaguely schoolgirl shaped, and she just all her voice lines are the most high pitched things in the world.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was funny in like a cringe kind of way. I love that.
I actually quite like Guilty Gear. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I should give that a go at some stage.
I'm not sure how self-aware it is, but some of the characters are really like edgy. So I'm wondering how aware they are of that. But it seemed really fun. Having no experience in it, it didn't feel like I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, sometimes that's fun though.
Even if some of the characters do not seem that well balanced, though. That was. But I did enjoy that. I got my ass whooped apart from 3 different times. But given I'd never touched it before, I'm quite happy with that. Yeah. What did you play anything?
At the same time you were playing that, I was playing Worms 4 Mayhem actually with
Oh, we
somebody for
did
a
play Worms
change.
4. Oh, that's
Yeah,
fun.
and he had
Yeah.
never played Worms 3D Worms game before, but he
Yes.
somehow beat me in both matches. Turns out,
I don't know how I did that. Horrible luck.
yeah, was that Dave? Was that you? Was that Dave that was doing that? Oh no, that was you, wasn't it? Yeah, but it was just like the whole you just figured out like, oh yeah, just use dynamite. Just your whole strategy was put dynamite next to worm, walk away, explosion. Although to be fair, your aim with the bazooka is surprisingly good sometimes.
Oh, it's so weird. I never quite cracked that. Um, or the remember the easy AI? That was not so easy.
Yeah,
Um,
the easy AI that somehow had like fucking aimbot or some shit.
we had to bully the AI before we actually bothered to kill each other.
Yeah,
Really.
it was funny. Like in the matches who were actually bullying the AI, they did so terribly with some of their shots. They really
Yeah,
didn't like the diggers for some reason.
you could awkwardly get a worm behind the scoop, and it was like a nice little cubby hole.
Digger bunker moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that or you just got really unlucky, and the worm is spawned right near the water's edge, and you got loads of
Poke.
shotguns. So
Yeah.
just shotgun them into the water. You can get like two in a row if you're lucky, which
The
is a
worm
bit was a
pot
bit
both times we were using the
scammy.
worm pot. Both times it rolled. I think at one time it rolled double damage and double damage with certain types of weapon,
Oh
and
yeah.
then the so worms were just going into space the minute they got hit with a bazooka. That one time that was funny. The other time was just like double damage with the shotgun or something specifically, and
It's
so
ballistic with
and so
guns.
double damage also means double knockback, which resulted in many worms taking an early dip.
Yeah, with like the custom teams, that got very silly very quickly.
Yeah, I think. I wonder if I've still got my worm save on my old memory card because I think I made like a team called the Rozzers. It was just like all the police bits
Oh,
with the British Bobby sounding thing. It's just the Rozzers. I love
it's
them.
fun.
At somewhere in that game, I'm fairly certain. I think it was. I know in one of the Worms games they had a Brummy sound worm voice option. I swear
Amazing.
they did. I don't know which one it was, but they do have Brummy as a thing because of course they do. I think they had Scouser as well in. I think it's Worms 4. I think it was in that one we played, and there's Scouser as well because of course.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's so funny. One time we'll have to play a round of I think it's what I lovingly call random bullshit go, which is you set the worm
Oh,
pot to more crates, to crate shower, crate shower, crate shower.
crates everywhere.
Yeah, and it just rains
Oh
crates,
no.
and so you wind up with some of the most ridiculous weapons, health packs that give you 100 extra health or whatever, and random
Oh
effect
no.
crates that could do anything from damage your worm to starting a flood.
What? Did it flood the map?
It basically floods the map a little bit, yeah, and each time it floods it more. Kind of like in Sudden Death.
Oh no, I love it.
And so it's really
There's
funny
a
in some of the more elevation based maps where there's this scramble to like keep high ground just in case some idiot managed to grab the flood box.
boxes, multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Skirmish Report. I will be trying more of that later because there are a lot more maps that we can play and unlock
Oh
and stuff.
god,
So we'll probably be talking about
amazing.
this again at some stage. I've also got Worms Forts, which I think you'll enjoy because it basically takes the standard gameplay of Worms 4 and
Right.
adds towers and stuff. So kind of
Oh,
sort of
that
tower
sounds
defensey. So
cool.
you can shoot at your opponent's towers. The objectives are either kill. No, I think sometimes you can do it just kill your opponent's team, but generally there's a mode where you have to destroy your opponent's base instead of their worms. Using and
Okay,
towers, each rank of tower has like better weapons that deal way more damage.
that tracks.
Yeah, so that should be fun. And of course, that has a much more historical theme to it than Worms 4. So there's things like Egyptian themed stuff. I think there's like the very
amazing.
first stuff is Roman, things like that. None of the maps are random because of how the system works, because it needs to have
That's fair.
the system for towers,
I can
but
see it.
the maps are still cool regardless, and the tower function thing, I think, adds more than non-randomness takes away. So, yeah, we'll be doing that at some point. If I could find my game capture card and see if it works, I might bring the PS2 and stuff over one of the days, and we could maybe stream it.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Play something different. Sure. That sounds like a good plan.
I'll give it a test at some point, see if I can get anything working. Anyway, I think that should be it for this podcast. We hope you...
We have the wheel.
Oh, yes, the wheel. I keep
Yes, we
forgetting to
forget
do
the
the
wheel.
wheel.
What's the theme for next week's homebrew? It is... Oh, funny you mentioned that. Ancient Egypt.
Hey!
Only somebody was running a campaign very loosely based on this. This is very good timing.
Interesting.
Funny, Harakir was just Ancient Egypt, but not quite.
Yeah. Ancient Egypt,
Cool.
but a little bit to the left. It took the left horse.
Oh, the left horse, it goes. All it does is go, but it's really quick.
So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are all wonderful. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Do we have any closing thoughts before we go?
Yes. Yes, I will be doing some tests on this. But with any luck, I'll probably be streaming, I want to say tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few arty indie games from a developer called Cosmodia quite like. And there's some interesting walking simulators that I quite like for some chill streams.
Nice.
And I've to do a test to see if they'll behave themselves. So hopefully that'll be tomorrow night. If not, there's plenty of abandonware in the world. There'll be something surprising.
This is true.
Yeah. Anything else from your end?
Nope. Other than the fact that I will try and stream sometime this week, probably, hopefully, maybe. It will probably be maybe Forza because I need to do weekly stuff. But I might try. I really want to do something different than Forza. So watch this space. Follow the channel if you haven't already. But I might try. I really want to do something different. See you guys soon. Play them out, Keyboard Cat.
See you next week. We're raiding as well. That's a good point.
We're raiding Ghosting By, who's playing Death Stranding.
Oh, perfect. From weird to weird. See you all next week.
See you all next week. Out to bye from me, Chaotic Jigsaw.
So bye from me, Byzantian Dev.
Bye.